What's up, Swolgers? Thanks for joining me on today's video where we're talking about the 5 worst people in Strongman. Now, before this gets just all negative, this is also going to cover the 5 best people in Strongman. And this video is all about ultimately what we can do as individuals and a community to better ourselves, better our sport, bring more people in, grow this whole sport together. So if you see some things on here that may describe you as one of the worst people, I really want you to take a second to think about what that means, what you can do about it, and how you can get better and stronger and help your community out, all right? We're all in this together, so let's grow this thing, get stronger together. Before we get started, please do me a favor, hit the like button below, click subscribe to the channel for more content on strength and all things getting swole in the mind, body, and soul, okay? So let's jump into the 5 worst people in Strongman. I'm gonna get right into it with number 1, the perma novice. This is the person who is always in the novice division despite having their maybe 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th competition. I run competitions, I've seen it happen. And remember, the rule of thumb for novice is that if you win, you can no longer participate. So a lot of times these people think like, oh, well, I'm gonna 0 if I go into the open, or, you know, I'm gonna wait until I win a novice level show before I go in. And that really, to be honest, is just holding yourself back. So you're taking away like spots and competitions from people who are new to the sport, which is what the novice division is all about. And you're holding yourself back. So whether it's an ego problem that you want to win something, even as a novice, or if it's you need to take some serious self-assessment and realize like, hey, I'm not aiming high enough, you need to do something about this, because the point of Strongman, the point of all of this is for all of ourselves to get better per yourself, per the individual, and to help each other around us get better and stronger. So set yourself to a higher standard. Don't be scared. You're full of people who are rooting for you and want to get better, and stop doing the novice division, okay? So number 2, we have the nasty naive. The nasty naive is the person who is aggressive, mean, nasty, and generally unfriendly, and then totally clueless, naive as to why nobody wants to support them, nobody wants to sign up for their show, nobody wants to root for them, nobody wants to just be involved with them. So this really happens all the time. You have people who, you know, run their mouths about something, you know, will poke and be aggressive, and then wonder, oh, I wonder, why isn't anybody signing up for my show? Or why didn't anybody come to this thing? This really happens quite regularly. So have some self-assessment here, wonder what's going on. You know, we're in such a niche, small sport and community as is. The last thing we need for this to, you know, get better for all of us is a divisive, aggressive butthole who's just talking shit all the time, okay? This really happens. You know, sometimes there are competitions on the same day, and I've seen people in comments, you know, saying like, why are you doing that competition? You need to do this one. It's actually a challenge. Really happened. Or, you know, somebody else made a video one time saying, you know, they're ashamed and they're disappointed that not enough people were signing up for this division. You know, just have some awareness of, you know, why would anybody be inspired or take any sort of action to come join you over at that competition if you're just like saying like, oh, this one's a real challenge. What are you implying? That like we're a pussy? Like, cool, okay, yeah, I guess I'll go join you then. That's not it. Or, you know, why would you go join somebody? You know, this is volunteering our time to participate in a hobby. Why are you shaming somebody for not participating? It is their choice, okay? We need to think about this from a like welcoming, opening perspective. So if you come across this person, honestly, ignore them, let them live their lives. You don't need to be shamed or, you know, accosted into even talking to them, okay? Hopefully they figure it out. We're always welcome. Everybody's always welcome at any competition, but don't be aggressive and angry and mean and then clueless as to, well, why doesn't anybody want to be my friend? Right? So, number 3, the big fish in the little pond. This is the person who is the king of their local town or the king of their local circuit, but is coasting on that and that alone, right? So of course, we should all have some pride in our accomplishments. If we're trying to get stronger and be better strong men or strong women, then it is great to go and win some local shows. But like in the grand scheme of things, if you want to actually be good and you want to coast on your accomplishments and boast about who you are, you do have to show up at these higher level shows. And many times this big fish in the little pond is nowhere to be found once it comes time for a regional, a national, or any sort of serious competition. There's always some excuse as to, why they couldn't show up, why they didn't go, so that's that. And I think really, if you know this person, you need to be very careful about taking their advice because, they're clearly not going to put themselves through whatever it takes to be the best. But if they're acting, like such a hotshot, then they're going to be telling you that they are. This happens all the time. I mean, strongman is a sport where there's a lot of egos. Some are extremely unwarranted. This is one example where somebody can just win sometimes through genetics alone and size at their local show and act like they're the greatest thing around town, okay? So big fish in a little pond. Again, I want it to be a sort of a eye-opener. If this feels like it describes you, do better. You can be better, okay? Number 4, the party loyalist. This is a good one, okay? So, just in the same way that, you would hear somebody say, I'm going to vote for this party no matter what. Some people in strongman will never, ever, ever, ever consider going to another federation just because it's that federation, okay? And that is stupid. Not only are you closing yourself off from a lot of opportunity, but you're intentionally being divisive in a small niche community, okay? Now, we're all individuals, we're all people. I understand that sometimes there is some gripe and some problems between like person to person, like I don't want to support that person because X, Y, Z. Like while I still think that's relatively silly, if it's like a good opportunity, a good show, and like a good thing for you to do to better yourself, like I don't fault you for that. But there are some people who will say like, oh, I am not going to do anything in that fed, period. I'm not going to do anything in that fed, period. What I have found is that, it really comes down to specific events and the individual promoters for what these shows are. Personally, I have competed in the last year in 3 different federations, and it really all comes down to different promoters. But I am looking for the bigger challenge. I'm looking for good shows that align with my goals and timeline that I have. So that's how it comes. And I think that's how you should treat it as a strength athlete as well. Don't be so closed off to the idea of like a different organization for no good reason. You do not have one, okay? So don't be a party loyalist that just blindly follows this fed or that fed just because of some petty reason. Do not be intentionally divisive in a small community. Does no good for anybody, all right? And number 5, the Do Nothing Diva. The Do Nothing Diva is the person that complains and complains about everything, shows, competitions, or any of that without ever being involved in the sport themselves beyond an athlete, okay? So when I'm running shows, the people I get the worst, the people that I get the most aggressive complaints from are people that have never volunteered, loaded, judged, worked, promoted, or in any way been a part of a show. And I learned this pretty quickly because once you are on the other side of things, you understand things don't always go according to plan. We're doing our best, and you would get that if you were there. So the Do Nothing Diva is somebody that just wants to complain, and they say, there should be this. You should have done that. Why isn't there this? If you really wanted something to be that way, you would get involved and be a part of the change, okay? So the Do Nothing Diva is the person that just wants all talk and no action and does not want to be a part of the change in the world. That is a reason why I do a lot of the things that I do is I want to see things done in a certain light. Sometimes it is up to me to do it that way. That's why I run shows the way I want them run, and I run these contests the way I want them so I can see more of it in the strongman world, right? Very simple. So think about it. If any of these describe, if you felt some sort of way about me saying something here, I'm only saying this for you to kind of think about what can I do different to be better for myself and my community. But these people truly are the worst, and they only detract from making this better for all of us. Okay, so let's take this into the 5 best people in strongman. I'm going to start with the enthusiastic volunteer. This is the person that is always ready to volunteer and help out at shows, no questions asked. Even sometimes they may show up just to support their friend or family member, and they end up jumping in to do something anyways. Many, many times I have to tell people, you're doing too much, chill out, but that's amazing. We love those people. So these are people who are always willing to help grow and do whatever it takes to support and make sure a show is well run. Okay, so this is somebody we really, really, really need to recognize and uphold as an awesome example of what it means to be a good member of our community. And it's the enthusiastic volunteers. So you probably know who some of these people are. You guys are my favorite. Thank you so much. All right. Number 2, the early bird. The early bird is somebody who signs up for competitions right away and is going to do it anyways, no matter what, even when weights, full events, and all the details are not posted. So commit to a good challenge. That is what all of this is about. It is about rising to the occasion, kind of no matter what is put ahead of you on your plate. So events are subject to change at any time, sometimes on the day of, but the early bird is somebody who's supporting the promoters, is getting active in the show, and being a part of it no matter what, no questions asked. A lot of people sometimes sit back and say, oh, I'm going to wait for the weights to come out. Not this person, okay? Honorary mention of worse people, the people who wait until the weights are posted to decide whether they're going to sign up or not. So also, all right. The play-up player, number 3. The play-up player is kind of the opposite of the big fish. And this is somebody who, kind of plays above their league a little bit. So this could be a few things. This could be somebody that, goes straight to the open division that is not really maybe fully ready to compete in all 5 events, or somebody that intentionally jumps up a weight class or 2 to compete at heavier weights, or somebody that starts to aim high for shows like a regionals, a nationals, an OSG, even though they may have never done something like that before. The reason why this type of person is so good is because, this is a defining example of doing whatever it takes to be your best, right? You're not going to ever get really good at this if you are the perma novice and you stay in your comfort zone, you stay in your little pond and just exist there. You have to get out, you have to try harder things, you have to do some things with a big risk to get better. So this has a really big, net effect, whether it's somebody that has training partners or just people at their gym see it, or you just kind of meet that person at a show. Like, I always have respect for people. It's been me sometimes who man, maybe you're a little bit, this might be out of your league. I don't mean that disrespectfully, just no better term. But I always respect the people that take the risk and gamble to try to play at the highest level, even if they might zero, okay? So that person really is one of the best types of people because they are trying their absolute hardest. And again, that has a net effect to the people around them. This is positivity of all of us bringing each other up, right? Number 4, the gentle giant. The gentle giant is that seasoned vet who, and sometimes looks like the scariest person around, but is really, at competitions, the guy that will help you with anything. You need help loading in the warm-up area. You just need somebody to kind of tell you, show you the ropes. This is how it's done, this or that. The gentle giant is kind of that seasoned vet who is supportive and ready to help you do whatever it takes if you're a complete noob. These are a lot of people that when I was first getting into this sport and competing that welcomed me in, said, hey, we're happy to have you, and kind of let me work in with them on warm-ups or do things like that to let me feel like I was a part of it, because it can be pretty overwhelming as a novice or first timer or something like that to know like how you're supposed to handle yourself at a competition. So when we have people like these gentle giants, it's really great because we want to welcome people into this thing, make them feel welcome, at their best, comfortable, and allow them to perform to the highest level they can. So that's the gentle giant. We're going to finish with the social media supporter, okay? The social media supporter is just somebody who is, it's very straightforward, you know, always liking, sharing, commenting, just being active on your posts. So as somebody like me, a show promoter, I really appreciate any like, share, comment, any of that stuff, because it really helps. It helps all of us. Again, like if you're an athlete, it helps grow the shows to get these things bigger and better. It helps provide better opportunities for people. Also, it's free, okay? It's absolutely free to like, comment, or share any of this stuff. You don't have to. You should not feel any obligation to, but just consider, you know, in this day and age, in today's worldview, we vote with our views, our clicks, and our likes. So if you want more of something and you're never sharing a post to your friends, you're never commenting, even if it's like a clap emoji or a fire emoji or any of that, you're never doing any of that, you're not really being an active participant in growing better opportunities for yourself. So that is the social media supporter. That's the 5 worst people and best people in Strongman. And again, I don't want this to be all entirely negative, because my intention with this video is to just draw attention to some behaviors, both good and bad, that are either, you know, helping or hurting what we want to do as athletes. So I want you to take some time to, you know, mull over some of these things and think about, am I doing any of this, or could I be doing some of this? And just get out there, be a better strongman, and do what you can to be your best self, right? So if you have any others, I'd be really curious to hear if you have other worst or best types of people in Strongman. Drop a comment. Would love to have some more ideas on this, and I really appreciate you tuning in today. Once again, please hit the like button. Would love it if you subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for more content, and have a championship day.